Hello beautiful people, my name is Mac and in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a WordPress website. So this is the latest tutorial you'll have out there because it has Gutenberg, it also has the latest Divi features. Okay, so this is also a Divi theme tutorial. So before we go into how to design the website, I want to show you the final design we're going to be aiming to achieve in this tutorial. Right, so this is the main homepage. So as I scroll down, you can see we have beautiful icons there. We also have a video and some content on the right. We also have this red divider here, which separates the content. And then on the bottom here, we have this image gallery. So when we click on this, the image expands and then we can cycle through these images. So you can actually design this website in this tutorial if you follow this tutorial step by step. Okay, let's move on to the next page. So this one is the About Me page. Again, a beautiful picture. It also has parallax. So as I scroll this, you can see that that effect is taking shape. Okay, let's move on to the fun stuff. So as you can see, what makes this website work is the beautiful images. Okay, so as I scroll down, again, we have a really beautiful page. Let's move on to the services page. Again, this is a beautifully designed page. And then finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the Contact Me page. Okay, so this is a basic, simple page, which has an image here in the background and also a form and the address over here to the right. So you can actually design this page if you follow this tutorial step by step. I'm going to be covering very important design tips and also tips on how to use Divi. Okay, so before we can start designing the website, I want to talk about something really important, and this is the hosting. Now, my experience with hosting was really bad. I chose a bad hosting company before, and that led me to spending so much time trying to fix problems rather than enjoy the design process. So I want to make sure that you get off to a good start if you haven't chosen your hosting yet. So the company that I recommend is called InMotion Hosting. This is a really good company. The tech support actually knows how WordPress works. So if you have any problems, they can help you with your WordPress install, which is great. Secondly, they also have SSD drive. Now, these are solid state drives, which make sure that all your websites are going to be running really fast. Thirdly, we also have what is known as SSL. Now, this is something that Google is going to be making mandatory in October. And this is for you to have that HTTPS, you know, that lock that you see when you go on your website. That means that any information that's being transferred on your website is encrypted. So this is going to be compulsory on all websites very soon. So again, they provide this SSL certificate for free. So as you can see, these are really good features which come with the hosting itself. So if you choose to use this hosting company, I have an affiliate link in the comments box below. So if you use that affiliate link, I will give you access to 3 courses. The first course is Divi Blueprint 3. Now, this is a course which teaches you everything that you need to know about Divi. And also, when this course updates, I will be giving you access to this course absolutely free. And this course costs $297. Secondly, I'll also be giving you my Photoshop for Web Designers course. So this course teaches you everything that you need to know around graphic design, how to crop your images, how to optimize your images to make your website load faster. So I cover quite a lot more in this course. So I'm giving away that course absolutely free as well. Thirdly, I have a WordPress mastery course. So if you're new to web design, this course teaches you everything that you need to know about WordPress. So pretty much all this is what you need in order for you to become really good in web design. So these 3 courses, absolutely free, and you also get a lifetime membership to Divi University. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So in order for you to design beautiful looking websites, you need what is known as a page builder. And there's several out there and they're all pretty good, but you know what? You get the best deal when you go with Divi. And here's why. So first of all, it has great documentation. So when you get started, they have inbuilt videos, which you can click on the question mark icon and it tells you everything that you need to know about each and every part of the builder. Secondly, there's a chat support which is 24/7. So if you have any questions, you can go to on elegantthemes.com, go to the chat, and all your questions will be answered. So thirdly, we have live shows. These are the shows where we show you how to use layout packs that are released by Elegant Themes, which are also absolutely free. So you get 2 layout packs absolutely free every single week. We also have daily tutorials. So these are tutorials which, if you watch several of them, you can get up to speed in how to use Divi. And then finally, there's great features which are released almost every week. And I also have a show which is called Divi Feature Update, which I host every Monday, where I get to explain how these features work. So all the links to these products will be included in the comments box below. Right, so before we get started, let's talk about 3 main things that make your websites look really, really professional. So first of all, great images. So in this tutorial, I'll be using images from a website called pexels.com. These are royalty-free images. So whenever you want to build your website with your own images, make sure you're using great images, because this is what makes your website look professional. Secondly, typography. You need to make sure that you use very good typography consistently throughout your website. Number 3, you need to choose great colors. And Divi has an inbuilt color system that generates colors for you. So this enables you to make sure that you don't mess up your colors once you add your initial colors. All right, so with that said, let's get started. Let's build this website. So now that WordPress is installed, this is basically what it looks like. So as you can see, this is really, really basic. There isn't much going on here. And this is why we need Divi, because Divi is a page builder which allows you to build any type of website in terms of design, colors, and so on. So with the basic WordPress, you are not able to do that. So this is why we need a page builder. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Elegant Themes because I have an account there. So I'm going to download the latest version of Divi and install it onto my website. So over here, I'm in my members area. I'm going to enter my password just like that and then click on members log in. I'm going to save the password for next time. And then over here, this is what you get with your membership. So all we need here is basically our Divi builder. So I'm going to click on download. So this is now going to download my latest version of Divi. Okay, so my download is complete. It's in my downloads folder. So the next thing now is to install Divi onto our WordPress website. So I'm going to come over here to my WordPress website. So as you can see, this is what everybody else sees. So I need to go into my admin dashboard. So to do that, you need to add a /wp-admin. So this takes you now to this page, which allows you to log into your WordPress admin dashboard. So this is where you do all your customizations. So over here, I'm going to add my username and then I'm going to click on login. Okay, excellent. So now I'm in my WordPress admin dashboard. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that everything is all up to date. So I'm going to come over here to updates just to check if everything is all up to date. So I can see here that everything is up to date, my plugins and also my themes. Great. So now I'm going to click on home. So right now, and this is very, very important. What I'm about to tell you is very important. So Gutenberg is going to be the latest editor that WordPress is going to be implementing very, very soon. So in this video, I'm going to actually install the Gutenberg editor so that in the future, you can always reference this because this is what WordPress is going to be doing. And this is going to be mandatory for anyone who is going to be using WordPress moving forward. So let's go ahead and install Gutenberg. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and activate it. Great, so we're all up to date and pretty much this is what it looks like. So you can go ahead and play around with this. But for now, we're going to keep it simple. I'm not going to waste time here. Let's go ahead and install our theme. So I'm going to come over here to Appearance, click on Themes. So over here, I'm going to click on Choose File. And right here is where it is, Divi 2. I'm going to click Install Now. So now my theme is being uploaded. Okay, so now that it's been installed, I'm going to go ahead now and activate it. Great. So now my theme has been activated. Great. So now if I go to my website and click View Site, you can see now that that main picture that we had is now gone. So this confirms that we have now installed our theme. Okay. So the next thing we need to do now is to add our API key. So I'm going to come back over here to my dashboard. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this, and then just rearrange a few things here just to make it a bit clean. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and activate my theme. So I'm going to come over here to theme options, click on updates. So over here, I need my username and API key. Right, so I'm going to come back over here to my account, click on account, API key. So I'm going to copy my API key over here, and then back over here, I'm going to paste my API key, and then I'm going to add my username and then click on save changes. Excellent. So now I'm ready to download all my layouts. I can also get all my updates now that I've activated my API key. Excellent. Right, so the next stage now is to add all our pages that we need for our website. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come over here to pages, and then I'm going to click on all pages so that we can see what is on this page. Okay, so right now we have these two pages. We have the privacy policy and the sample page. So we don't need the sample page, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Now let's add our own pages. So I'm going to come over here, click on add new. So let's call this home. So for now, I'm just going to publish all my pages. So I'm over here on the top right, I'm going to click on publish. Okay, so next I need to add my new another page. So I'm going to come all the way to the top here where it says new page. So let's call this page about me. I'm going to publish that again. Do the same, add another one. Maybe we could call this services. Publish. Add another page. So let's just call this page fun stuff. Again, we're going to publish it. And then finally, we're going to add a contact page. And then publish it. Okay, so now we've just added our pages. So let's go ahead and see that these pages are added correctly. So I'm going to come over here to all pages, and now we can see that all our pages are in place. Great. So now the next stage is we want to make sure that our main page that people land on is the home page. So let's go ahead and fix that. But before I do that, let me just show you what it looks like at the moment. So if I come over here to visit site, you can see here that it says hello world. This is our basic blog. So our website is set to display blog. So that's not what we want. We want that when people come to our website, they see the main landing page. And this is going to be the home page, which is right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. So back over here to my dashboard, I'm going to go to settings, reading. So over here, as you can see, it's set to your latest post. So I'm going to change this to homepage. So then my homepage is going to be home, and then I'm going to click on save changes. Next, I'm going to set my permalinks. So I'm going to come over here to permalinks. So at the moment, it's set to, this sample post, and it's going to the date and all of that. We just want our permalinks to be basic. So I'm going to click here on post name, save changes. Right, so the next thing we need to do is to create our menu. So I'm going to come over here to appearance, click on menus. So let's give our menu a name. So let's just call this main menu, just in case in the future we need to add more menus. So I'm going to click on create new, and then I'm going to select all my pages that I've just created and add them onto my menu, just like that. Now it's time to rearrange these. So you can just drag these into position. And then once you're happy with how everything is in that order, you can then go ahead and set it to primary menu, save menu, and that's all you need to do. Now your menu is all set, and now our landing page is all set. Okay, so let me just double check here and just make sure everything is fine. So yes, our primary menu is set to main menu. Great. Now I'm going to come over here and click on visit site, and now we can see that all our pages have been added onto our website. Now it's time to build all our pages. So let's go ahead and do that. So right now I'm on the home page. So I'm going to click on Enable Visual Builder. So this is the welcome, which gives you a tour of Divi. So we're not going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Start Building. Right, so now we have an option to either use a pre-made layout, build from scratch, or clone an existing page. So we don't have any existing pages and we don't want to clone anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with building this page from scratch, and then we're going to move over here to choose a pre-made layout later on in the training. So I'm going to click on build from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a full width section. So I'm going to come over here, click this full width, and we need to add a full width header. So I'm going to click on full width header, and then I'm just going to snap this to the left like that. So every time I make changes over here, I can see what is happening over here on the right. Great. So for now, I'm going to save changes, and then I'm going to delete this top section that has been added by default with Divi. So now I'm going to save this page, and then the next stage now is to load all my images that I need for this design. So I'm going to save this and then exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so back over here to my dashboard. I'm going to go to Media, Library, and then I'm going to click on Add New. So this is where I'm going to add all my files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop all my images just like that. So it's going to take a while to upload all my images. Okay, so all our images are now in the media library. That means they are very easy now to access anytime I need them. Great, so let's go back to our pages and let's start building. So right now we were working on the home page. So I'm going to click on Edit with Divi Builder. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into my module. So I'm going to click here on module settings. So now this takes me into my full width header settings. So the first thing we're going to do is to add a background image. So right now we have a background color. So I'm going to click this third tab and then click here on background image. So now we can choose which image we can add here on our main area, header area. So I'm going to start off with this image here, click upload an image. So now we can see our image has been added onto our page. Okay, so next we're going to come over here to design, click on layout, and then we're going to make this full screen. So now our design is covering the whole screen, which is great. So moving on. So we want this text here that we have to look much better on our page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here until I get to sizing, and then I'm going to choose my content width and reduce this just like that, maybe about 40%. Okay, so that looks great. So I'm going to come over here now to my title text. So we're going to make this slightly bigger, but in fact, you know what? I'm going to choose a font which is slightly different from this because this is our default font. So I'm going to come over here to title font and I'm going to choose Lato. Okay, we're going to make it all caps. We're going to give this some letter spacing, and we're going to make the text size slightly bigger. And then over here, we're going to also come to our body text, increase the size, maybe 20. And then we're also going to increase our body line height like that. So as you can see, now it's much easier to read. Excellent. So what we might as well do here is we have a button here which is not styled. So let's go ahead and style that button. So over here on button 1, I'm going to click on use custom styles for button. So it's all about trying which colors work. So let's start off with our background color here. So I'm going to add this red as our background color. And then I'm going to come over here and for the border radius, I'm going to give it the same color. Now it's time to adjust our text in here. So I'm going to scroll down, make it all caps, give it a bit of letter spacing. And I think this looks great when it's bold. Okay, so I'm going to change my font weight here to bold. Great. So that's looking much better. I really like how that is looking. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Right, so as you can see, our image here, it's not quite easy to read what we have here on this description. So what we could do is we could come over here to our module settings, click on background, and then I'm going to come over here to my background gradient. So I'm going to select my gradient by clicking this plus button. So my first color here is going to be black, and then my second color is going to be white. In fact, I can make it transparent here, okay? So the next thing we need to do now is to come over here to the bottom where it says place gradient above background image. And then I'm just going to say yes. So now we can see that our gradient has been placed above the image, but this is not done yet because we want the opposite of this. So I'm going to drag this slider over here until I get to 1 degree. Okay, so that's fine. And then my end position, I'm going to drag this down as well to about, let's say 50%. Okay, so now back over here to my gradient, I'm going to just drag this all the way down like that. So what you want to do here is you can play with these sliders until you're happy with how this looks. So what I'm going to do here is, the gradient is fine, and I'm going to play around with my end position here and just make sure that the face is not covered. Okay, so that looks great. So I'm pretty happy with this. So the next stage now is to add a new section. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to add a new section by clicking this plus button. And this time, this is going to be a irregular section. Right, so in here, I'm going to click these 3 columns. And then I'm going to close this for now. So this section here needs to be black so that it just blends into this image. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my background and add my black color, just like that. So as you can see, it looks like it's continuing going up there to the biker. Okay, so that's looking fantastic. So over here now I can add my modules. So let's say I'm going to add a blurb. I can just add it like that. Okay. But this time we are going to need some icons and not this image. So I'm going to come over here to image and icon. I'm just going to click on use icon and let's choose our icon here. So my first one here could be maybe this credit card. Okay, so that's great. Now it's time to make some further adjustments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all my changes that I need to make on this actual blurb, and then I'm going to copy and paste them over here to the right to save me time to recreate all these changes. Okay, so next I'm going to come over here to design and then click on image and icon. So on image and icon, I can change my color over here and also add a circle if I need to. So let's play around with the circle. So I'm going to add a circle here and give the circle a color. So I'm going to go with that red. And then over here, I'm going to change my icon color and maybe you can just make it white. I think that works. But if you need further colors to use, you can always click these 3 little dots and then it gives you more colors to work with. So you can experiment with these and see what works for your design. So I'm just going to stick with that. And then over here, I'm going to click on use icon font size. And then I'm going to make my icon slightly smaller, maybe about 48 pixels. Okay, so I think that looks great. So moving on, let's work on our text. So over here, I'm going to click here on this little brush tool. So this will take me straight to my text settings. So I'm going to increase my text size here, maybe change the color as well to white. I'm going to center it and then make it bold actually. So I'm going to come over here to my title font weight, make that bold. That looks much better now. And if you want to play around with the colors, you can always come here, as I mentioned before, and change that color. So maybe you could go with that is slightly gray. And then the next stage now is to work on this body text over here. So I'm going to drag this to about, let's say 16. Change the color as well. So I'm going to go with maybe that. And then over here on the text, I would like my orientation to be centered, just like that. Okay, so now that we have all this set, that looks great. I'm going to go ahead now and save. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this over here to the right. Or you can actually duplicate it this way. Right, so I'm going to drag it into position, like that. Now let's make some changes to our row. So I'm going to come over here into my row settings, click on design, sizing. So we're going to click on use custom width, and I prefer to have my width as a percentage, and I'm going to use 70%. Okay, so that looks much better. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Next, I'm going to come over here on use custom gutter width. So right now it's set on 3. I can actually change it and make it 4. So I think that's much better. I'm going to save. So that just increases the space between these blurbs. Okay, so finally, I can now go in and change my icon. So I'm going to click here on my module settings, click on image and icon, and then I can change my icons here. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one, save that, come over here, image and icon, and then I'm going to save this one. I'm going to save this one too. Great, so I'm going to go ahead now and save. So let's carry on and add more items onto our page. So I'm going to go ahead now and add another section. So I'm going to click this plus button, click on regular. So this time I'm going to need maybe a 2/3, 1/3. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one right here. And on the left here, I'm going to add a video. Okay, so I'm going to click on video, search for video. So I can add my video module like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. Over here on the right, I need to add some text. So I'm going to search for my text module and select it. Okay, so for now, I'm going to go ahead and save. Next, I'm going to come over here to my row settings, because remember on the top one here, we set it at 70%. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same here. So I'm going to click on sizing, custom width, percentage, 70%. Excellent. So now that means all the content that we're going to add here is going to have the same width. Great. Right. So I might as well add a black background here to my section. So I'm going to click this plus button to add my background color. And now I have black. So as you can see, this page now has this black going on here, which fades into this main image here on the top. So now I can go ahead and save. So what I usually do when it comes to these my videos is I add an image overlay. So I'm going to click this gear icon here to get into my video settings, click on overlay, and then I'm going to click this plus button to add my image. Okay, so the image I'm going to add is, let me go with this one right here. Okay, let's go ahead with this motorbike. So I'm going to click here on upload an image. So now we can see that our motorbike has been added, and that really, really looks nice because it blends into that black that we have on this page. Now, over here on the right, let's go ahead and work with that. So we need to change the colors and also add a title to this. So I'm going to click here on my module settings. Okay, so this is going to work as my title. So I'm going to click here on paragraph and put heading 1. And then I'm going to come over here to my design, heading text. So for heading 1, we're going to make it all caps. And we're also going to change the color like that. We're going to add some letter spacing, and we're going to make it bold. Now it's time to work on the body text. So I'm going to come over here on this little paintbrush. So that takes us directly to my page settings. I'm going to increase the size here to about, let's say, 16. We're also going to change the color. So we're going to use this gray. Okay, so that looks great. So the next thing I need to do now is to save. And then I'm going to add some margin here to the top so this text can be pushed further down here. So I'm going to click here again, go into design. So instead of going through all these menus, I'm just going to search for margin. And then I'm going to add my margin to the top. So I can just use this dial. Look how cool that is. So I can visually see where everything is being pushed to. So 190 I think works perfect for that. And then finally I'm going to save. So as you can see, my page is really taking shape, and I really like the way it's taking shape. So the idea of adding this manually is to show you how easy it is to add content onto this page. So finally, I'm going to add one more row. So I'm going to click here on regular, and I'm going to choose a single row here. So this time we're going to add a line that just separates what we have on the page. So I'm going to go ahead now and add a divider. Select my divider here. So my color is going to be, let's come over here to the colors, and I'm going to choose a very, very light gray. I mean a dark gray. Maybe that would work. So I'm going to save this for now, and then I'm going to add a black background and see what that looks like. So I'm going to add my background here, that. So that looks cool actually. So now I can go back in and make adjustments to this one more time. So go here and then click on color. So I think that color is a bit too much. So I'm going to click here on these three little dots and choose a darker version of that gray. In fact, that's the one I selected. So I'm going to go with this one. And then over here on sizing, I can actually make this slightly bigger. So maybe 3 works better. Okay, great. So now I can go ahead and save. So the final section we're going to add here is a section where we have our images. Okay, so it's kind of like an image gallery. So I'm going to click this plus button, add regular. So for this, I'm going to add a single column. So I'm going to search for gallery. So you can see here that my images have been added. So that's pretty cool. Here is where you need to define how many images you want on that section. So let's go with 4. And then I'm going to click here on the elements. So I don't need any pagination, which is what we get here. So I'm going to say no to that. And then I also don't need any captions to my images. So I'm going to say no to that as well. So all we have now are just the images. Great. So the next stage now is to adjust the size of this row. So I'm going to go ahead now and save. And then to do that, I'm going to go into my row settings. Click on design, sizing. And then over here, I'm going to go to custom width. And let's make this 100%. So I'm going to click on unit, make it 100%. Next, I'm going to come over here to use custom gutter width. Drag this all the way down until I get to 1. So now we can see that all my images have no gaps between them. That's because I've pulled this gutter width all the way to 1. Great. So now that we have this in place, I can go ahead now and save and then add a background color to this section. So I'm going to click this section settings, click on background, add my background color just like that, and then save. So as you can see, this is really, really looking great. Now it's time to maybe customize these overlays. Okay, so let's go back here into our gallery module. So to make those customizations, I can come over here to design, overlay. So this is where we get to choose the color that we need for the overlays. So to follow with our trend, let's have our overlay color as this red. Okay, so as you can see, it's bright and red. But what we can also do is to come over here and click on that color and reduce the opacity. Okay, so now we can see a little bit of the color when we mouse over this area. Okay, so I think that's really, really cool. Okay, so now it's time to choose our icon. So let's choose our icon here. So I'm going to go with, let's go with this one here. Okay, so our icon color can be white. So now we can see that it's white. Okay, so now we can go ahead and save that complete page. Okay, so my page is saved now. I think I'm happy with all the content that I've added. So this is going to be our main landing page. So I think this looks great. So this page can be customized to be anything. So right now I have this young man as the main person on the page. But of course, we can always change this image and maybe apply it to a woman. So let me show you quickly how to do that. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings. Click on background. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this image and then click this plus button to add an image. So the image I'm going to add here is an image of a woman. So I'm going to select this woman right here, click upload an image. So now we can see that we've changed this image straight away and now it has a different image. Okay, so this is how you can quickly change this page to suit wherever you want. So if you're male, female, or whatever, you can actually adjust this page to make it be however you want it. So that's the beauty of this design. Okay, so our page is done. That's awesome. Now it's time to work on the next page. So I'm going to click here on Exit Visual Builder. Okay, so that's how our page looks. So the next stage now is to work on the next page. So I'm going to come over here to About Me. So as you can see, there's nothing on it. So I'm going to click Enable Visual Builder. So this time I'm going to choose a pre-made layout. So this just makes the process of designing your pages even faster. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to click on Choose Pre-made Layout. So every week Divi releases 2 pre-made layouts which you can use in your designs. All the images on there are free to use, so it's really, really awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose a layout pack which works with my design. So what you could do is you can come over here and explore these and see which one actually works with your designs. So if you're not happy with this one, you can always click back, scroll down until you find the one that you like. So I'm just going to go through these. So let's try this one here. I think I like this one. Okay, so I'm going to click on use this layout. So this will take a while to load the layout onto the page. But once it's loaded, it comes in with all the settings that I need for the page. All I have to do is to go in and change all the images to suit my design. Okay, so I really like this. So now I'm going to go in and make all my changes. So first of all, I'm going to click here on my module settings, click on filter, modified styles. So this lets me know exactly what was changed on this page. So I'm going to start over here with this image. So I'm going to click this plus this area here and add my own image. Okay, so the image I'm going to use is maybe I'm going to go with this one right here. Upload an image. So now we can see that that really looks cool. I really like that. Okay, and then over here I can change this title. So instead of having this as Jenny's Travels, I'm just going to call this Max Travels. Okay, so I'm going to come over here on my button and change the color, because the color that we are using is red. So I'm going to choose my red color here. And also for the border, I'm going to select red. And then I'm going to choose my font here, and it's called Lato. So I'm going to come over here to button 1 letter spacing, and I think 2 is fine. And it's bold anyway, so that looks great. So what I'm going to do next is to make sure that the fonts that I have on this page are consistent with the ones that I used on the first page. So I'm going to come over here to this little paintbrush icon. So this will allow me to directly go in here and fix my font. So first of all, it's not all serif. I'm going to change this and choose Lato, because that's the font that I'm using. So I'm going to make it all caps like that. And I'm going to give this a bit of letter spacing. Okay, I think I'm really happy with that. Next, I'm going to come over here to this description, and I'm going to do the same. Change my font to Lato, and I'm going to change this from, in fact, regular is fine. All I need to do now is to add some letter spacing. Right, so my page looks okay. The next stage now is to add another image over here. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to come over here into the module settings. I'm going to delete this image and add a new one. So the image I'm going to choose here is, I'm going to go with this one right here. See how that one looks. I think that looks okay. So that's fine. I'm happy with that image. And then over here, I'm going to save, and I can change the text over here just to match everything that I have on my page. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the text over here and change my orientation to bold. Change this to Lato, reduce the size a little bit because that's a bit too much. So 36 is fine. And then finally on my body text, I'm going to change this to Lato as well. And 17 is fine. And we also have a button here which has the wrong color. So let me go ahead and fix it. I'm going to click here on Design, Button, change my color. Okay, and then the background color also needs to be red. Okay, so that's all we need to do here, and my button is fine. So now you can continue and do the rest of the page. But you know what? You don't need to keep all the content on this page. So I'm just going to save here, and let's take a look at what was changed here on this page. So I'm going to click here on the section settings, click on background, and I'm going to add my own image here. So I'm going to click on this image, and let's try this one right here. Upload an image. Wow, and that looks beautiful. You can see that this now has taken on the gradient that was on this page. So this is the power of using these Divi layouts. As soon as you add your layouts, it takes on all the design elements and it makes it look really, really nice. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. In fact, that may just be the last section that I need on this page. So I'm just going to save this and then delete everything else that comes below this. Okay, so I'm going to delete all that. Right, I don't need this, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this as well. We have a gallery already on the main page, so I can delete that as well. Right, okay. So this can be my last image on this page. So you can see here, Max Travels. And then it also states the countries here. Okay, so what I may want to do here is to go in and change the colors as well. So I'm going to click this little icon, make this white, because I think white looks better. And then what I can do here is I can copy the number text color just by doing that. Save it. And then I can go in and paste the color just like that. So this is another trick of working fast in Divi. Okay, so now that I've added all this, all I have to do now on this page is to go in and make sure that my font is the right font. So I'm going to click here on design, change my font. And then over here, I'm going to change my font on my paragraph text, change that to Lato, and that looks fine. So I'm going to save. So that's the design of our page. So I'm going to save this by hitting this button here. And then now we can exit the Visual Builder. Great. So when you scroll through this page, you can see that this looks really, really cool. So by just using a few steps, you can see how quickly I created this page. Now let's move on to the next page, which is the fun stuff. So I'm going to click here on fun stuff, enable Visual Builder. So we're going to go back again to our pre-made layout and then choose our travel. Right, so for this, I am going to, let's see. So, you know, when you click on these little icons here, you can actually see a preview of what is happening here, which is really, really cool. So you can always go in and see what's on the page. So our page is fun stuff. So I think this page works. Okay, let's go ahead and use this one here. So I'm going to use this layout. So again, it's going to load all the images onto the site. And here we go. So these are all my images. So all I have to do, like what I did before, is to go in and change these images. So again, I'm going to click here on this gear icon to enter my module settings. I'm going to click this filter and click on modified styles so that I can know what has been modified on this page. So I'm going to click here and add my own image. So the image I'm going to add is, let's say, this image right here. Okay, upload an image. Next, I'm going to change this font to Lato, and then I'm going to give it some letter spacing. Okay, the date is fine, and then I'm going to come over here to this button and just make sure that I add my color here and also my border color. Next, I'm going to change my font to Lato, give it some letter spacing. Okay, so now let's move on to the next thing. So here we have the photo gallery if we need it, and we also have this information right here. So what you can actually do here is we don't have to use all this information. We can always go in and delete what we don't need. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an image to this background. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and we can see that this is the image that has been added. So I'm going to click here and choose my own image. So let's see what image we're going to go with here. So I'm going to go with this one here, upload an image. So that's going to be the image that I'm going to use. And we can see here that it looks really, really nice. It's great. Okay, so on the top here, in fact, I'm going to save first. I'm going to come in and click here on my call to action. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the font. Again, I'm going to go in and choose Lato. And I think that's the size is fine. Next, I'm going to go into the button and change the colors as well. Right, so I'm going to add my border color and also my background color. So now my button has been updated. And then for the button font, I'm going to change this to Lato, and that looks great. And now I can save. And then on the top here, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to click here on the settings for the text. And then I'm going to come over here to design. Then I'm going to go in one by one and change my heading font, change this to Lato, just like that. And you can see now it's all been updated. And I'm going to make this red just so that my color palette is consistent throughout my whole design. Okay, so that's looking great. I want to save this, move on here to this paragraph. I'm going to click here on this paragraph, click on design, and I'm also going to go in and change my font. So I'm going to click here and choose Lato. Great, so that's looking fine now. So right now, as you can see, I'm not actually going in and changing the font or the text that is added here. The main reason is this is so that you can go in and add your own titles onto this page and your own descriptions that go onto these areas here. Okay, so that's the beauty of this layout. We can go in and add our images. We can also add anything that we need on these pages. So what I'm going to do here on the bottom is I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything else because we don't need all these other items that we have here on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one as well. And finally, the last few sections. So pretty much this page is done. So our fun stuff page has been done. Next, I'm going to go to services. Okay, so before we leave the page, you want to make sure that you save the page. Okay, so now it's saved. I can now exit the Visual Builder. Excellent. Okay, so that's our complete page. So far we've designed 3 pages, nice and easy. So we've got a home page. We've got the About Me page. We also have the fun stuff. Now we're next on to the services page. Okay, so as you can see, it's blank. So as before, we're going to click here on Enable Visual Builder. Choose a pre-made layout. I'm going to select our layout pack. So I'm going to cycle through these and see which one I really like. In fact, you know what? We can go ahead and use this landing one and delete the sections that we don't need. So I'm going to click on Use this layout. Okay, so we don't need this layout, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. We're going to delete this one too. So now our first page here has travel history, which I think is really cool. Okay, so let's add our background image to this section. So I'm going to click here on my section settings, click on background, and then I'm going to add my background image. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here. I'm going to click upload an image. So this is the image that we're going to go with. Right, so on the top there, we want to change our font type. So I'm going to click here on my text settings, click this little icon, change my heading to font, to Lato, just like that. The size looks fine. And then over here, I'm going to change this text, change my font to Lato, and then save that. Right, so over here, we're going to do what we did before, and that is maybe even delete this because we don't need all this. So I'm going to delete that. And then over here now, we have the recent travel. So let me show you something quickly which can enable you to make all these updates easier. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here, click on design, and then we're going to come over here to our heading. So this is heading 2. So I'm going to right click here and copy heading text styles. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And then I'm just going to paste my heading text style. So you can see here that it's been updated. You can do it over here as well. Just like that. I'll do it here too. Okay, so we're not going to need this, so I'm going to delete that and delete the gallery as well. And this time we are going to need this section. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then over here, we're going to delete this because we don't need that section. So what we can do now is we can go in here and change our images as well. So I'm going to go in here, click on this image settings, and then I'm going to change my image. So the image I'm going to go with is, I'm going to go with this one right here, upload an image. So now it's custom to our own design. And then over here, I'm going to change this image as well. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to click here on my image settings. And then I'm going to choose the image that goes with this one. So for this one, I'm going to go with, let's try this one here. Okay, so I really like this one here. I'm going to save. So I think this page really looks nice. All right, so over here now, I'm going to go into my call to action settings. So as you can see, my text here is not lato, so I'm going to go in and change that too. So I'm going to change this to lato, and then my color here for my button needs to be red. So I'm going to go in, change that color, change that here as well, and then save. And then over here, upcoming trips, we can also change these images, but you know what, for now, I'm just going to leave them as they are. Delete this button here. And then for this section here, I can see that there is a background image as well. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and I'm going to use my own image for this. Okay, so I'm going to go and use this one right here, upload an image, and then save. Great, so I think my page is done now. So this is how we quickly went in and customized our page. So what I've noticed here as well is we don't see much of this image. So to fix that problem, we need to come over here to our row settings and then search for margin. And then I'm going to add a margin top. So as you can see, as I'm dragging this dial, it's showing now more of this image, which is great. So now I can go ahead and save. So these are the little tricks and tips that you can actually use to get the right layout of your page. So now I can go ahead and save this page by clicking on the save button. That looks beautiful. Okay, and then exit the Visual Builder. Now it's time to go to the Contact Me page. So I'm going to click here on Contact Me, enable the Visual Builder, and then I'm going to click on choose a pre-made layout. And again, we're going to navigate to the layout that we are using for this. And we're just going to go for the contact page like that. Use this layout. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to change this image. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings, click on background, and then I'm going to click here on this image and add my own image. So the image I'm going to add is this one here of the city. Upload an image. So already you can see by just a few clicks, I've customized my page to make it look the way I want. So that's great. I can go ahead now and save. And next, this form here is fine. All I need to do on this form is to change this color so that it matches my design. So I'm going to click here on module settings. Then I'm going to click here on the filter, modified styles. So I can see here my button background color is here. Change that to red. Change the border. And that's done. So now I can save. Now we don't need this section over here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Okay, so all we have here is this main image here on the top and the contact form. So what I may also want to add here is some text over here to the right, which can be the address. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come over here to my row settings, design, sizing. So remember, before we set our width to about 70%, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add 70% and then I'm going to save. Now we're going to come over here and divide this row. So let's click here on column structure and let's have a 2/3, 1/3. Okay. So over here now I can add my text module and then I can add my address and phone number. Okay, so that's our address. I'm going to go ahead now and save. And we can add a bit more padding here just so that we can fill this space. Right, so now my page is complete. I can now save and then exit the Visual Builder. So this is the final design of our website. Now here's a few things that you need to take note of. So when we use these pre-made layouts, it doesn't matter what layout it is. It could be a construction site. It could be maybe a doctor's surgery. Now, those images in those layouts, they don't matter because you can change any layout pack into whatever website you need. And this is why Divi makes the process of building a website really, really easy. So what I find most people doing is they go ahead and say, can we have a layout pack for maybe a doctor's surgery? Now, you don't have to use a doctor's surgery layout in order for you to get the layout that you need. You can choose any type of layout. So you can see here we chose a travel blog or a travel adventure website and we've made it our own. So now we were able to customize our website and make it look the way we want. So all we did here is we went in, we changed our images, we changed our fonts, we also changed the layout a little bit. So this is how you can easily create your own website using WordPress and Divi. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to hit the subscribe button and also to hit the bell notification. By doing that, you'll be notified every time I release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so the next stage now is to design the header part of our website. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come over here to my dashboard and then I'm going to come to appearance and then customize. Okay, so I'm going to click here on header navigation, primary menu bar. So first off, I'm going to come over here to my text color and make this white. And then for the background color, I'm going to change this and make it black. Right, so we're going to come over here to the text color. Now, as you can see on the top here, because we have black, we can't read the text. So let's make it white. So now we can start to see the color. And then over here, you can also adjust the intensity by dragging this slider. So if you don't want it to be like too bright, you can always click on this slider here. And I think I'm happy with this slightly gray color. Okay, so that's looking great. And then over here, we can also adjust our drop down, but you know what? We don't have any drop downs on this website, so this will look perfectly fine. Okay, so with that now, over here on our active link color, we can go ahead and use red because that's what we've been using for our buttons and throughout our icons and throughout our whole website. So I think that is fine. Okay, so now that we have all this, our font style here is bold. So you can adjust this here, and if you don't want it bold, you can always make the change here. But I think bold looks nice, and also all caps. And then over here on the letter spacing, you can also add some letter spacing to this if you want to. But I think I'll leave it at 2 because that's a decent size. And for the text size here, you can slightly make it bigger to about, let's say, 15. So I think this is really, really cool. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and publish this page. So I'm going to click back here to our primary menu. So if you want to work on the secondary menu bar, you can always come over here. But you know what? We're not going to play around with this. So we're going to leave this as it is. And then we're going to close this and go back to our website. So over here, I'm going to click on Visit Website. So as you can see here, this bar that we have on the top has made this page look even much, much better. Okay, so when I scroll down, now we can see right, so now that our header is done, the next stage now is to fix our footer. So as you can see here, it says designed by Elegant Themes, powered by WordPress. Now that's not what we need. We want this website to be our own website with our own text. So to fix that, I'm going to come over here to footer, bottom bar. And then this is where we can say designed by Mac. Then I'll just add 2018. So on the top here, I'm going to click on background color and remove that altogether. My font size, I think I'm going to make it 13 because, or maybe. So if you don't want to have anything on the footer, you can always disable this completely by just clicking on disable footer credits. But I'm just going to leave mine as designed by Mac 2018, as you can see here on the bottom. And again, you don't want to make this way too bright because that's the footer area of your page. Okay, so now with that set, I'm going to click on publish. And pretty much that's how you change the footer credits on your Divi website. Right, so now that that is saved, I'm going to close this and we can now go ahead and take a look at our website. Okay, so if I go all the way down here to my footer, we can see that has been changed and that looks great. So pretty much this is our design. I'm going to go one more time through this page and we can see here that this is brilliant. Okay, so this is the final website. So as you can see, we have all our pages here. So this is the About Me. Beautiful. Fun stuff. Services. And then the Contact Me.